In the criminal justice system, the people,
pimps, addicts, thieves, bums, winos, girls who can't keep an address, and men who don't care,
are represented by two separate yet equally important groups.
A cop, a flatfoot, a bull, a dick, John Law. You're the fuzz, the heat, you're poison, you're trouble, you're bad news.
These are their stories.
The J6 crew, you know them. They are now, many of them, in jail. And the J6 rioters are running their jail block like a gang. They're leaving their jail block and leaving jail more radicalized than ever. They made up roughly half of the inmates held in this jail block. It's a special unit sequestered from the jail's other prisoners and known to its residents as, quote, the Patriot Wing, because it has so many of these residents.
That's really scary.
Yeah. A fitness evangelist who'd been transferred out to serve a 5-year prison sentence for attacking police officers with a floor lamp, a shoe, and a nightstick. And there are all kinds of nasty people in there, but it is the J6ers who are making news. And, for example, David Dempsey, a 37-year-old man from Van Nuys, California, in January pleaded guilty to assaulting, resisting, or impeding officers using a dangerous weapon. He said that he was in his cell reading when he heard shouts outside his door on a television posted high in the hallway. The news was replaying the moment that Trump went to the ground with that assassination attempt. Dempsey said, I thought he was dead. I was effing devastated. I started having a panic attack. I was crying, screaming, yelling. I flipped out on the guards. I demanded that they turn on phones. This is effing BS, I said. I think they just killed the effing president. And you want to tell me to calm down? Of course, by this time, the Secret Service had taken Trump to his car, etc. But these prisoners are so wrapped up in the welfare and future of Donald Trump that they very much feel connected to the former president. And they also are looking for full pardons with an apology to many of them as well. When asked how they thought inmates in general would have reacted if Trump indeed had been killed instead of just grazed in the ear, the one prisoner said, I'm really not comfortable answering that over the phone, these telephone interviews. 1,400 people plus have been charged with federal crimes for their actions in the Capitol on January 6th. The majority of that day's violent offenders have, again, been spending some portion of time either in jail or in home detention. And in the wing of this prison are high-profile MAGAites who are looking to get out, and they're looking for a pardon, and they run the place. Apparently, seniority is a big thing, and seniority seems to be bestowed upon those who've been incarcerated before or have been there for an extended period of time. If you have a deep criminal record, you command respect in this jail and within the J6 movement that continues in this prison. There are all sorts of efforts to build different arms of these patriots, as they call, so that they are preparing for getting out. Many of them are connected to QAnon. And the scale of support the rioters have had on the outside, according to many who have reported on this, is unique among incarcerated groups, including gangs. The only historical parallel for these J6ers who are, again, taking control of this wing of the prison is the Irish Republican Army prisoners, a network of believers is maintained through key rituals that they do every night for the past 3 years. At 9, the inmates have joined a type of conference call, usually through their state-supplied tablets, and spoken to a vigil of supporter activists who are outside the jail, and an audience of thousands listening live across the country. They talk about their cases, their persecution, their stolen election. Every night they sing the Star-Spangled Banner. Around 20 of these residents collaborated with Trump on a song, Justice for All. You've probably seen Trump play that at some of his rallies. Trump recites the Pledge of Allegiance, and the inmates in the form of the J6 prison choir sing the national anthem.
This is crazy.
When
Especially since these are people who want to do away with the Constitution. The gall to sing the national anthem at Yankee Doodle Dandy as if they're patriots? Please.
Yeah. There's no question that this is prison, but reporters are saying that the place really has the feel of a sleepaway camp. And it's really in control, much of it, by the J6 crew. Meanwhile, in California, in Fresno County, the CHP seizes fentanyl. That in itself, while maybe important, wouldn't necessarily make law and disorder, but it's where they hid the fentanyl that makes this segment. They hid it in carne asada, everyone. That is the answer that I guess is they seized nearly $1.7 million worth of fentanyl in the Central Valley, a lot of it packed in carne asada. It was all during a traffic stop. Drug-sniffing dog alerted the handler to narcotics inside of a cooler. It was an SUV with a Washington license plate that read, "Got beef." Inside the cooler, authorities found soft drinks, seltzers, bottles of water, and multiple packages of raw beef stuffed with 11 pounds of fentanyl, valued at $500,000. The 30-year-old suspect, who is from Washington, was arrested, faces felony charges of possession of fentanyl for sale and transportation of fentanyl across state lines. Yeah, they're not big on you transferring and moving that fentanyl. A security guard for Chase Bank helped plan a $200,000 armed heist.
What?
I know. The very guards that you figure are watching over the money. As I always say about this and many other stories, who's watching the watchers?
It was an inside job.
At Chase Bank, it was a couple. They arrived early in the bank's day. They were there to withdraw $200,000. Nearby, the private security guard stood watch, occasionally sending text messages on her cell phone. As the couple made their way across the parking lot that day, they were approached by two armed men who robbed them before fleeing. It seemed like a random act of violence, but Federalist authorities say that it was actually an inside job, as Kim says. Chase says the guard was an employee of a private security contractor. It wasn't one of ours. He's a private security contractor, okay? Well, Chase Bank knew nothing about him. The company is cooperating, apparently, and according to a federal grand jury indictment, the planning for the heist may have begun a month prior, after this couple showed up at a Chase branch in Palmdale, California, it's in the high desert, to deposit a check for $315,000. They wanted to withdraw about $200,000, but were told to return at a later date. And that's when the private security guard thought, oh, I get it. These two are going to be back to get that money. And he passed the information along to the two people who are named in the indictment. The two suspects allegedly drove to the bank and waited in the parking lot for the victims to come to cash that $200,000 check. That's when the security guard sent a series of text messages and phone calls about the two to the co-conspirators, who then were in position to make the bust. Federal officials said that the money was then laundered by visiting Commerce Casino and Hotel in Commerce, California, a place where Mark Thompson has been all too many times. They laundered the money through gambling chips and cashing out about $168,700 on some of those visits. It was a heist. It was an inside job. It had everything, Kim. But in the end, they didn't get away with it. In Orange County, a man is charged with workers' comp fraud, $100 million worth of workers' comp fraud.
What?
I mean, if you're going to do it big.
He did it super big. It was a 3-year investigation. David Fish, 55, of Laguna Niguel, masterminded an extensive scheme to control clinics and also providers who would see patients, refer them to specific providers in order to get illegal referral payments, and then unlawfully bill workers' comp for their services. This is a $30 billion annual problem in the United States, is workers' comp fraud.
Yep.
It's huge. The district attorney said this, Todd Spitzer in Orange County. At a time when families across America are struggling to keep up with increasing prices for everything from gas and rent to just being able to put food on the table for their families, criminals like these only increase the cost of insurance premiums and put the American dream just that much further out of reach for so many hardworking people. Well, who is the guy with the guitar, Albert?
I don't know.
And
Looks
also,
like a doctor ready to play me a tune.
yes, please enjoy this photo of a man with a guitar. We believe he has some relevance to the story. But that is a huge...
He is the OC man who was doing all that stuff.
Thank you,
the guy.
Albert. All right, thank you, Albert. I think Kim
Albert, thank you.
presumed that, but I wasn't sure.
The man of
And
many
Mr.
talents.
David Fish. Mr. Fish.
Oh, that is David Fish. Okay,
Yes.
Thank you. Well, David Fish, just part of this scheme. There were neurosurgeons involved. There was a huge network. You can imagine $100 million, a network of who you'd think skilled professionals in the medical field associated with this. And finally, I leave you with this, Instagrammers. Federal prosecutors announcing charges against 3 young people who they say robbed a string of banks across Northern California last year by using Instagram to recruit women to walk into financial institutions and pass the tellers notes demanding money.
What?
That's right. They recruited people to do their bank heisting, and they found them on Instagram. Both of Northern California, Jones and Millette. Jones and Millette are the 2, I think there were videos of them holding large amounts of cash. And they were able to create the impression that they had a key to making money. Happy money-making Mondays, one said in one of her posts. I got 1 spot left in a car. Tap in. I don't need MFs that's scared to get money around me. So if it's not even for you, please don't vote.
Wow.
Yeah. So the indictment states that these kids, 3 of them there, you can see them join the scheme after meeting her on Instagram. They traced the roots of the enterprise to when she allegedly saved a screenshot and internet searches describing bank tellers and what they should do when there is a robbery going on. On July 15th, the indictment says there's an Instagram message sent saying, quote, "Banks hitting, let's work. Come on, boo." 2 days later, according to the federal allegations, the trio hit a bank in Suisun City, a town on the Sacramento-San Joaquin River Delta.
Yeah.
They arrived there, the indictment states, in a stolen white Audi A7 with tinted windows. One went inside the bank and passed a note to a teller that read in part, quote, "Put a smile on your face and pull the money out, or I will shoot."
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's pretty serious stuff. She walked out with
thinking about the thought process that goes into clicking yes on that. Hit me, boo. There's a spot left in my, that sounds like a great thing. Click.
That's the point. It sounded fun. It's Instagram. Hey, this is great. Let's go get some money. They only got $1,000 in that one hit in the bank. They hit a bank in Vallejo, which is outside of the Bay Area. They're in suburbs of the Bay Area, and so on. And so they were kind of feeling it. But I will say this. They are going to do serious time. When you hold up a bank or you're involved in any kind of robbery like this and you use a gun, you're done. And so these people who are young people who got connected with, they got away with tens of thousands of dollars. I think I saw also almost $15,000 in another heist. I mean, it's all fun, and it's like the movie Set It Off until you get nailed. And even in that movie Set It Off, they really got nailed. But in this case, they're all alive, but they are going to do serious time. And they could do 9 years or more. Yikes. So this is no way to make money. But it's the grim reality. Instagram picked up these three, and now the cops picked up those three, and they will be doing time. That's Law and Disorder for today.
Tune in again next time for more Law and Disorder on The Mark Thompson Show.
All right, that's it. Let's roll. Hey, let's be careful out there.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.